Welcome to the Cunningham Piano Show podcast, where we explore the world of pianos and the people behind them. I'm your host, Hugh Sung, and I have a wonderful pianist as a guest on the show today. Please welcome pianist Melody Fader. Melody, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And we're so excited because you're coming to Cunningham Piano's Cherry Hill Showroom to give a recital playing works of Beethoven and Liszt, a very challenging program, this coming Sunday, March 24th at 3 p.m. I got the date right?
Yeah.
Great. We're so excited to have you. And, for a preview of what we're going to hear and the kind of musician you are, we have a video of you playing some Debussy. Would you mind telling us a little bit about what we're about to hear?
So the performance that you're going to hear is a piece by Debussy called Reflets dans l'eau, Reflections on the Water, which is from Image Book 1. And it is such a beautiful piece. I actually was not a huge Debussy fan growing up. It wasn't one of my. I was always playing Beethoven and Chopin, as a kid, but I didn't really get into Debussy, and I actually had a dream about this piece, which made me just feel like, okay, I need to play it. And it's just the colors and the water imagery and the sound is just, I just love it.
It's
So,
like if music could sound like water and vice versa, if water could sound like music, I think that's what this piece would be, right?
yeah, and
All
it just
right.
it floats and it trickles and it's beautiful.
Well, let's listen.
It's transformed me. Now I'm a Debussy fan.
Oh, cool. All right, let's take a listen.
Okay.
Oh my goodness, that was so beautiful. I mean, if you hadn't mentioned that you were not a fan of Debussy before working on this, I would not have believed you because you play with such a sense of coloration and delicacy. I mean, you really did a wonderful job of capturing that impressionistic sense of sound and imagery through the music. Bravo.
Thank you so much. Well, as I said, I became a Debussy fan from that and from working on it. So it
You know,
wasn't like I had to struggle to get it. As soon as I
gotcha.
started the piece, I
Mm.
was a fan. So
You kind of had um, that natural sense of it, right? And kind of discovered it within yourself. It sounds like by working on that piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now I noticed you were playing with bare feet. Camera kind of went down and up, and like, whoa, you're wearing. And it's funny because when I'm at home, I like playing the piano in bare feet. And I worked with a wonderful flute player. He's a phenomenal flute player and flute. He's probably one of the most prolific flute composers. His name is Gary Shocker. And the times that we've performed together, I always notice he always plays in socks. He never wears shoes on stage. And I thought, well, this is interesting. There might be a trend here. Tell me about, is this a thing? I mean, you playing in bare feet?
Yeah, I mean, I used to wear high-heeled shoes,
Hmm?
as, because I wear a dress, and you want to wear the shoes. But it started to feel, I could feel there was so much, it didn't feel natural, and it made pedaling really difficult to wear high-heeled shoes. And I just felt like it added more stress and to performing. And when I'm at home, I'm always practicing barefoot, and you really can feel the pedals better. I mean, some people have said to me, "Doesn't it hurt to use your bare feet?" And I think not at all. It's
Oh, not at all. Yeah, no, it's
no,
actually very comfortable. Yeah, and there's that very close connection. I mean, we're obviously our fingers are connected to the pedal, but our feet are. It's like a third hand or a third set of fingers,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. I mean, and so I like to just have as much contact with the pedal as possible so that I can be as subtle with the pedaling.
Hmm.
Like if you have shoes on, you don't. It's harder to feel and be subtle with it. So I just, I mean, unless I'm in a situation that it feels inappropriate, like if I'm accompanying someone's audition and I don't want to draw attention to, the fact that I'm playing barefoot. But I do not wear high heels. I'll wear, boots, flat shoes.
Sure.
But um, but whenever I just wear bare feet.
That
It's become kind of a trademark for me.
that's very
And
cool. Yeah.
yeah, there's a violinist who I play with. Actually, that concert that I'm playing the Debussy on, I'm sharing it with a violinist, and she also plays barefoot.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
She's very. I think if you're like really, I mean, I actually used to dance, so
Ah.
and she was a dance. She's not a dancer, but she's very physical, and I think when you're really sensitive to your body, you want to have bare feet. So some
Interesting.
people do it. I don't know if it's a trend, but
Well,
among
no,
some people,
yeah, speaking of dance, of course, that was part of your background too. You've done a lot of work with various dance companies.
yeah.
I know you've toured with the Dance Theater of Harlem across the United States, and even when you go to your website, I don't know if you're going to change this, but their website, the first thing you see is you in playing and dancers in the background. So, you want to talk just a little bit about some of your
Sure.
experience as a dance pianist?
Yeah, well, as I said, I used to dance, and I mean, I grew up playing. I mean, I started piano when I was 5, but I started ballet when I was 4, and I loved it. And I mean, I love both actually, but I wasn't in a professional training dance ballet. It was just like a little local school, but I loved it. And we didn't have live music where I took ballet. It was just recorded music. And then when I was a teenager, I started taking classes I'm from Hartford, at the Hartford Ballet School, and they had live pianists playing there. And when I saw that there were actual people playing the music for ballet class, and I thought, well, I'm a pianist and I love ballet. I thought I want to do that, and um, I was I was very excited, and I started figuring out how to do it, and so I started playing for ballet classes when I was about 20, and I was really excited and into it. And from playing to class 4 classes, I started. Well, I enjoyed it because I enjoy the dance and I understand the dance. And then I was invited to play with this company called New Chamber Ballet, which I still play with now. And it's a company it's a small company in New York City. They usually have about 5 dancers, and then they use live piano and live violin for all of their performances. And I've been playing with them for almost 20 years.
Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Now, what's interesting, now I had just a little bit of experience playing with the David Parsons Dance Company many years ago, and it was my first experience working with live dancers, and it just struck me what a powerful relationship there was with playing the piano and the rhythm, the physicality of the musicians, and needing to feel. Sometimes musicians, we can kind of go all over the place with our rhythm. We're very free. With
Uh-huh.
dance, you need to give them a structure so that they can express themselves. And you can't get too far ahead of them. They just can't physically keep up. There's so much that they have to do. And it was a kind of chamber music in a very different physical kind of way. I loved it. It was such an amazing experience. And that also speaks to the fact that you are also a master collaborative pianist. And for folks who don't know, collaborative piano is the art of playing with others. And in your case, you've played with dancers, but you also play with, of course, other musicians.
Yeah, and yeah, I love collaborating. It's very natural for me. And as far as the rhythm and with dance, when you're playing for class, it's very rhythmic oriented because they're doing
Mm-hmm.
their exercises and it has to be rhythm. But I find it depends on who's running the um, dance company. But like the company that I play for, the director used to be a musician too. He was a pianist and a composer, and so he lets the music be whatever it is, and it's not usually so rhythmic. Uh, there's not that kind of limitation, but so I find there's a collaboration. There's a feeling of collaborating with the dancers when you can sense their movement, and um, that's very similar to collaborating with another musician.
Now, has anybody ever commented that you dance on the piano? Because I'm just from that little video, and I accidentally kind of went the wrong way with my scenes here. But um, watching you play, you have this dance-like way of moving over the keys. Has anybody ever made that association without knowing your dance background?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always, it's really I always take it as a big compliment
Oh,
if
absolutely. It's
when
very graceful. Yeah.
yeah, people say that, and I always feel like, you know, I'm not really trying, but it's really nice. It's like, oh, I would like that. That sounds like something that I'm pleased if someone thinks it looks like I'm dancing at the keyboard or my fingers are
Sure.
dancing or
Wow.
um, yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit because you're also the founder of your own chamber music series. And I know at least one of your groups is a trio with a cellist that we both know. This is Michael Hawes, cellist,
Uh-huh.
wonderful cellist that I knew him when he was at Curtis.
Were you
You
students
want to talk?
together?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Were
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah. I was actually, I've been affiliated with Curtis just many, many years. Anyway, but tell me a little bit about your chamber music series and some of the other collaborative stuff that you do.
Yeah, so I started that Melody and Company Chamber series in 2015. Um, Basically, I just wanted to make something a little more official, um, so that I don't know. I mean, it's basically just a platform for performing, um, and it's usually intimate settings, and um, but I'm in charge, so I get to choose the repertoire I want to do and the people I want to play with, and I also raise money so that I can pay everybody, which is always a little challenging in this field.
Sure.
So it's important to have a little bit of funding. Um, so it ranges. I started doing 3 concerts a year, and then, last year I think I did one. I do anywhere between like 1 and 3 or so concerts a year, and it. I started the first concert I put on, like I arranged it and got a venue, and then I was like, okay, who's gonna play with me? And for the first concert, and I was reaching out to people that I knew, and I saw this quartet that I knew the violist from, And I saw that they were doing Dvorak Piano Quintet around the time of my concert, and I said, "Would you be interested in playing Dvorak Piano Quintet with me?" And they said, and she said, "Sure." And then I played. I went to rehearsal with them, and I was like, "Wow, these are great players." And the first violinist, Emily Ann Gendron, and the cellist in particular, I started playing with them, and we formed a trio because I
Hmm.
was like, wow, they're so great, and it feels so good to play with them. And it's also, you know, I mean, the piano trio repertoire is great. Um, and it's also three people are easier to pay than five.
The pragmatism of being a musician. There
I mean,
you go.
once in a while we get a quartet, and we've done the Brahms quintet. We have done the Schumann, the Brahms, and the Dvorak so far, but that takes I got to build up my funding a little more before. But yeah, so I do a lot of trios with uh, we're the Fader Gendron Haas trio, or the
Hmm.
FGH
Hmm.
trio for
That's
our
great.
last names. And um, yeah, they're great to play with.
Wonderful. But
Yeah.
you're also very active as a soloist. I think you're playing several programs in several other towns, not just at Cunningham and Cherry Hill.
Yeah, this program that I'm playing in Cherry Hill, I've programmed it 4 times. I played
Oh my
it.
goodness.
I played last because it's really important as a performer. Like you put all this work into a program, you don't want to just do it once. You
Wonderful.
you need to grow with it, and you grow with it
Sure.
by performing with it. And um, so I played it last week in a salon concert in New York on the Upper West Side. And then this week I'm playing at the Mallory series at Rutgers in Camden on Wednesday. And then this is my second time. This will be my second time playing at the Cunningham,
Oh,
because
you've been here before. Okay, wonderful.
last January, and because I've developed a nice little following of people in Camden who come, and they're great people.
Yeah.
I love these people. And so we thought, oh, let's do another one. And it was, and it's so great because the piano, you're in a piano shop. So
You
the
got the
piano,
best pianos.
and also the Mallory concerts are at 11:20 in the morning on a Wednesday. So
Hmm.
not everyone can really get there.
Yeah.
So this is, Sunday at 3 p.m., hopefully accessible to more people.
Sure. Sure.
And then I'm also playing, and then in a couple weeks I'll be playing this program at a church in Manchester, Connecticut.
Oh my God, this is fantastic. You're really getting a chance to grow with this pro. All right, so enough about all the preparation. What are you actually going to be playing? I mentioned at the beginning you're going to be playing some Beethoven, some Liszt. It's a pretty challenging program. Tell us a little bit about the works that you'll be playing.
So this program, I'm playing two Beethoven sonatas, which, usually on a program people play one, but like one Beethoven sonata. But um, I'm doing a middle period. I'm opening with the Moonlight Sonata, which, is a favorite of lots of people. And I mean, there's a reason. It's so beautiful. But it's middle period Beethoven, which is, he's so strong. His, like the last movement is just technical
Fireworks.
virtuosity,
Yeah.
which it's Opus 27, number 2, which is, when you're in the tens, Opus tens, and like those are the early Beethovens, and then middles in the 20s. It's just great. And the first movement, of course, is so sensitive. and
Hmm.
and then so I've got the middle Beethoven, and then I'm doing Opus 109, which is late Beethoven, which is a whole nother uh, part of Beethoven that, I mean, so many people are familiar with the Moonlight. Not everyone is familiar with Opus 109, but of course musicians are, and it's the there's the last three piano sonatas of Beethoven, Opus 109, 110, and 111, are some of his greatest, most mature, most spiritual works. They're just it's just transcendental. And I think it's interesting to have listened to a middle sonata and then a late sonata, hear how Beethoven developed and
And grew,
changed
yeah.
and started to press, push the boundaries of style and what a sonata is.
Mm.
And then, actually inspired by the dance company that I play for, we have a piece that was to a set of Liszt pieces, and they're mostly late Liszt pieces, which aren't what you usually think of when you think of Liszt, of virtuosity and, you know um, these are Liszt is in these pieces, he's stretching the boundaries, particularly harmonically. Um, he's getting out of major and minor tonality. One of the pieces I'm playing is called Bagatelle sans tonalité. So a bagatelle without tonality. And, there's all sorts of uh, diminished fifths and augmented fourths. But it's also, you're not really in any particular key. Um, and there's another one called La Lugubre Gondola, which again, it's like these kind of weird, for his time, he's really getting pretty modern.
Hmm.
And so I thought it'd be interesting to make a program of commonly, common Beethoven and mature late Beethoven, and then a little bit of more commonly known Liszt, and then late Liszt. So I opened the Liszt set with Consolation Number 3, which is kind of a famous, beautiful, song like, comfortable, romantic, beautiful piece. And then, so it's like, okay, here's Liszt, what you might normally think of Liszt, and then look where he went later. So,
Hmm.
we're going from the Moonlight Sonata into the Liszt Consolation, and then the Bagatelle and the Gondola, and then I close the set with Ave Maria, which is not the standard Liszt transcription of Schubert. It's actually, I think it's, maybe he wrote it for choral, a choral setting, and this is a piano
Hmm.
version. But it's actually really, it's Ave Maria. It's very powerful spiritually, which I think leads perfectly into Beethoven Opus 109, where Beethoven is like on this other level of transcending earth.
It sounds like you have a fascination with development, the development of artistic development, looking at a composer's early life, then contrasting that with where life takes them, and having the listener examine the end of their life, as it were. Is that something that you like to explore in general in terms of your programming and even your musical approach?
Um, I mean, I think it's what I'm exploring right now.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in this particular program, and well, I actually am particularly exploring the Beethoven sonatas, which, I mean, you know, they're kind of referred to as the Bible of piano music. And I started, I mean, of course, I played some Beethoven sonatas um, in my life, but not really that many. And then in the pandemic, I actually had somebody who was sponsoring me to, every time I learned a Beethoven sonata, he would pay me. And which
That's
was,
pretty cool. Can I get somebody like that?
yeah, it's great because, so, and I've been working through them, not in order, and it slowed down once things opened up after I wasn't just at home only playing solo piano. But the latest one for me now is Opus 109. And I mean, I think I did the first one, Opus 2 number 1 first, and then, but so it's been, so in the past 3-4 years, I've really been exploring Beethoven and his, the different, how he grows. So that's why it was particularly interesting to put a couple of sonatas on the program together to, I mean, just to explore Beethoven and his growth. So
This sounds like such a terrific program. Once again, this is taking place Sunday, March 24th at the Cunningham Piano Cherry Hill Showroom. We'll be sure to have links to both the store address as well as to the Eventbrite link where you can purchase tickets to attend this wonderful, wonderful concert. Really fascinating, well thought out program. And Melody, this is going to be terrific. Thank you so much for bringing your artistry. And maybe we could close off with you sharing a little bit about some of your thoughts about what you'd like to explore next in your musical journey. What's coming up for you next?
So next, actually, so after the 4 concerts of this program, which who knows, maybe I'll do more of it later, but I've got trio stuff coming up with Michael Haas and Emily Angendron. We're doing, we have 2 programs. We'll be playing in Brookline, Massachusetts on May 4th. And our program for that is a Mozart trio, Mendelssohn D minor trio, and then the first movement of Schoenfield Cafe music. So we're doing that. And then in the end of May, we'll be playing the Schubert E-flat trio. And I'm actually going to be going to Belgium and playing with a different trio. I have some friends and colleagues who live in Belgium, a cellist and violinist, and we're going to be doing the Mendelssohn and the Schubert there in June.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I actually have a friend also through the New Chamber Ballet who wrote, she was a composer, and she wrote a piece for the ballet company, and I really like her. And we were talking, because the Schubert trio is like 45 minutes long, which to me is like almost a full program. But I thought, what if you write a companion piece so that you have like a 10-minute piece inspired by the Schubert trio and then the Schubert trio. So she's planning to write something this summer, and my hope is to, program that, the Schubert and Gartman. So that's my hope. And that's actually kind of an interest. It's a long, it's like, okay, Schubert wrote this, and she's a, a young composer who actually started out as a singer. So I was saying, like Beethoven Archduke, Schubert, and she said, I really would like to write something inspired by the Schubert, because she has more of a connection to Schubert as a singer.
That's so fascinating. You've got a lot of things on your plate, a very busy pianist. And I forgot to ask, where are you actually based?
Oh, I'm in New York City.
Ah, lucky you. The heart of it all. That is fantastic. We are so looking forward to having you, and I hope that everybody watching and listening to this podcast will make time in their schedule on Sunday, March 24th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, to visit and hear Melody perform. We've got a beautiful Bösendorfer piano for you to perform on. So
I can't wait to play on it.
It's going to be perfect for the Beethoven and fantastic for the Liszt. I think you're going to really enjoy that.
Oh, I'm very excited. And before we go, can I just introduce my cat?
Oh, please. Let's meet your cat. Yes.
She's right here. She's been sitting down.
Aww.
This is Moo.
That's Moo. Hello, Moo. Oh, sweetie. So cute. How old is Moo?
Moo is 10.
And what inspired the name Moo?
I just think it's an endearing name. But she sits by me while I practice. She loves Beethoven. She loves it all.
Great. That's
she really
fantastic. Nothing like having a pet that appreciates good music, right?
Yeah, she really does.
Melody, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to introduce yourself. We're so excited, and hopefully everybody else is excited to come meet you, dance on the keys at Cunningham Piano's Cherry Hill Showroom, Sunday, March 24th at 3 o'clock. We'll see you there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And for everybody else, thanks for watching and listening, and we'll see you all next time.